This week I made a pie-themed apron. I could say it was a Thanksgiving project, but really, who doesn't love pie year-round? So this is just going to be an apron that lives in my cupboards from now on. Alright, here I'm sewing strips of the crust-colored fabric in half lengthwise to make my lattice strips. And I'm turning them right sides out so that I can iron them flat. I'm laying out the lattice strips on the pie wedges. This is berry pie. I'm lining up the ruler on the 45 degree to that center seam, or center crease rather, and then pinning them down. The second strips get woven through the first, because that is how you make a lattice crust pie. Here's the second pie slice. This one's cherry, obviously. And then the final lattice crust pie. This is my favorite pie. It's the best pie. It's rhubarb pie. It isn't pink because it isn't strawberry rhubarb. That's nonsense. This is straight rhubarb pie. And it's the best. I'm just pinning the crust pieces onto the tops of each wedge, well, actually the bottoms of each wedge, the way they'll be hung in this apron. There's all of our lattice pieces, and then we have the final two, pumpkin pie. And lemon meringue. And sewing the crust on. They were so tightly pinned because it's two curves fighting against each other, so that they form the same curve at the edge. And so you gotta sort of finesse them together. This isn't a very severe curve, so it wasn't too bad, but I had all the extra pins just to make it easier for myself. And on the lattice crusts, I had even more pins because I wanted to make sure I had all of the lattice caught in there in its correct position. Here's the most tedious part of this entire project. That's tacking down all of the little intersections of the pie lattices. It took days because I just hated doing it. So I've only shown you one because I barely had the energy to finish the other two, let alone set up a camera every time. And it's kind of boring. It's just taking stitches, carefully not through the top layer of the lattice, but all the rest of the layers, and then knotting it off on the back. And this is just so that when it is hung from the waistband, it doesn't fall weird and bow out. And I've got all of the slices pinned together, and I'm just stitching them. Once again, there's lots of pins in there because I wanted to make sure all of the lattice was secured at the angles it needed to be at in the final product. Now I've got the back piece, which is just a piece of the crust colored fabric that is the same shape as the whole sewn together apron, and I'm sewing it along the sides and the bottom edge. Clip in the corners, turning it right side out, and ironing all of those down. I'm attaching the waistband to the apron skirt, just taking it right sides together and sewing it on. Then I've folded the rest of the waistband pieces so that they are right sides together. And I'm just stitching them from the very edge of that waistband that's connected to the skirt piece all the way to the end, and creating a little diagonal end there. And then when I turn it right sides out, the only part that isn't stitched down is the part on the back of the skirt of the apron. And I'm ironing out all of the ties and the waistband. Now I'm ironing a crease into the top of the section that is attached to the skirt, which I've then pinned down and am hand stitching on, just to cover all the raw edges. Now I am creating little pockets for the pumpkin pie and lemon meringue slice. So one is whipped cream, one is meringue. They are just blobby shapes sewn right sides together, flipped out, and ironed. And I'm also creating some blueberries to go on top of the meringue. And I'm just top stitching them on. I have pinned out where they need to go, and they're just getting top stitched right on. And now I'm sewing on the blueberries to the meringue pocket. And then I decided that the pumpkin pie pocket looked a little plain, so I've decided to iron a strip of the leftover lattice flat again. Draw some leaves on it, so it's like little pastry crust leaves on a pie. Stitch those, trim them, turn them right side out. And of course iron them. And I'm trying to decide where I want to put them. I end up deciding on the pocket. And there it is, the final apron. I really like how it turned out. I think it's pretty cute. Alright, thank you for watching. If you like what you see and want to see more, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to see what I've been up to, there's another video on the screen for you.